This woman went to visit her boyfriend on the 19th of February 2024. While she was at her boyfriend's place, they both decided to go to a bar to have beer. And while they were having drinks, she started feeling uneasy. She complained that her stomach was hurting her. She came out of the bar and went to a nearby shop to ask a lady for help. But it seemed her condition instantly worsened, and before they knew it, she fell dead on the floor. Now, a lot of people are beginning to suspect her boyfriend, suggesting that he may have poisoned her. 40-year-old Comfort Inyoni Glay was said to be a mother of 9 children, but only 7 of them are alive as at the time of this incident. It's not stated if all her children were from the same man, and it wasn't stated if she was married as at the time of this incident, nor was it stated if she was divorced or widowed. But it was said that she was dating and seeing a 42-year-old man named Stanley Moore, and it was believed that they both live in the same community in New Buchanan, Grand Bassa County in Liberia, where this incident happened.
When she was alive at that time, this is her photo. So the photo you just saw on the screen was when she was still alive. A very beautiful woman by the name of Comfort, who left her body was discovered here in the New Buchanan community this morning.
Stanley was said to be a heavy-duty construction worker in a notable company, and it wasn't clear what Comfort did for a living or how she catered for her kids. And for Stanley, it still wasn't stated if he was married, although a neighbor or someone who was familiar with them claimed that he was in a relationship with another woman, but the woman wasn't in the community. So it's safe to say that Comfort was Stanley's girlfriend in that community, and he most likely had another life, another woman, a wife, most possibly somewhere else in another town, in another neighborhood. That was the idea. However, it was known that Comfort and Stanley were seeing each other. They were dating. On that said day, the 19th of February 2024, it was believed that Comfort went to visit Stanley at his place. And then she requested that she wanted to have a beer. She wanted to drink. She wanted to chill. Some sources said they went to chill at his own house. Other sources claimed that they both went to a nearby bar that was still around their vicinity. And while they were there, they had some beer and probably chilling like most couples do. It's not clear if it was instantly, however, later that evening, or maybe right about the same time they were hanging out, she began feeling uneasy. Her stomach began to ache. And it was also said her throat began to feel a type of way. Comfort could sense that something was wrong with her, but she did not know what it was. It is also possible she had an idea, because instantly she started running for help. She went to a nearby house, a nearby shop, where she met a woman whom she did not know and asked the woman for water. She began explaining how she was feeling to the woman, and this woman was particularly concerned because Comfort was looking like something was wrong with her, and this woman did not know who Comfort was. While at this woman's house, Comfort asked for water to drink. The lady said she did not have, which is odd, but I would guess the lady was being careful as to not sure what was going on. However, this woman offered her a bucket of water to pour on her head so she can feel a lot better in case she was feeling fainty. Pouring the water on her head did not help any matters because Comfort started feeling a lot worse. Then she requested from this woman to put her on a motorcycle and take her to the hospital. And this woman did not know who Comfort was. It was clear that Comfort knew that something terrible was wrong with her because she started making demands. She begged this woman to take her to the hospital. The woman was unsure of what to do because she doesn't want to get in trouble. She also begged that her children be called. But this woman said she doesn't know who she was. And many people around the neighborhood, people who were around there, did not know her particularly. She left her neighborhood and came to her boyfriend's neighborhood, Stanley's neighborhood. So I'm sure most people there may only know Stanley. And that is why it may have been so difficult for her to find someone who she knew that would have been comfortable enough to render her the help that she was really seeking for. Although naturally, it could have been a lot nicer if people just helped her. Just take her to the hospital. without having to know who she was. Maybe she would have had a fighting chance on life again. At some point, it was even claimed that she wanted to throw up and she could not put her hand in her own mouth. She asked the lady to use the lady's hand, like let the lady put her hands in her mouth. And the lady was like, no, I'm not going to put my hand in your mouth. If you want to throw up, do it yourself. Help yourself out.
Please put me on motorbike so you can carry me to the hospital. And that's how I said I don't know her. And that's how she said, please go call my children. And I said, I don't know your house. How do I call your children?
It just became very serious. And eventually, she fell to the ground and began reeling in pain. More people came, they tried to help her at this point. People were trying to understand what was going on with her. No one knew her and people were being careful. They were wondering what was happening. Was this a spiritual attack? Was it something she took? They were trying to question her, trying to get her help, but she was not responding. And just before maybe more people could come to help her, it was said she stopped responding completely and she stopped moving, which they believed she had passed in that moment. Although a particular source claimed that one particular man remembered or recognized her and quickly went to her own area and neighborhood to inform her children. But before the children, one of her child, 13-year-old boy, could come to the scene, it was said Comfort had already given up. And by the time they got there, the landlord in that compound where Comfort was asking for help around had already covered her and they were waiting for the police. However, before she passed, she did mention to the woman that she most likely is feeling uneasy because of the beer that her boyfriend gave her. So that was a statement that was put there. Before Comfort passed, she told this woman that her boyfriend gave her a drink and they went to drink beer. And that was why she was feeling uneasy, or that's why she suspects she was feeling uneasy, which in my interpretation meant that for her to say that her boyfriend gave her beer, not say, oh, we went to the bar to drink beer, it meant that she most likely suspected that she had been poisoned by her boyfriend. But this is my theme here, because eventually when she passed and the landlord and people came around, the police came, her body was evacuated and studied, and they realized that there was no physical injury, nothing out of the ordinary, that whatever may have happened to her must have been something she had taken. This is just so weird, because where was Stanley all this while? That was my first question when I was learning about the story. Where was the boyfriend? Sources claim that Stanley was actually nearby, but did not do anything to help Comfort. Which would make sense, because if Stanley wasn't sure of what was happening to her, why didn't he help? Why did Comfort have to go to a strange woman, a neighbor whom she did not know, to beg her to give her water, take her to the hospital, help her out, whereas her boyfriend was close? This was just clear to me that it's giving guilty, in my opinion. It's clear that Stanley knew what was up. Stanley could have given her the water if she so needed water badly. Stanley could have taken her to the hospital if that was what she wanted. Where was the boyfriend? And this is why a lot of people believe that Stanley killed her, that Stanley most likely poisoned her drink. But Stanley's defense is they went to the bar. It wasn't like he went to buy the drink and kept in the house. And for what it was worth, Stanley claimed that she was the one who requested the specific brand of beer to drink. And when they went to the bar, that was what they ordered to drink. Although we know that in bars, people can get poisoned at the club, we've seen it multiple times, you turn around and someone is spiking your drink, that is also a possibility. So we can't give Stanley off the hook. However, on the contrary, it's being said that the Liberian police had done their investigation and they believe Stanley did not do anything. In fact, they don't suspect foul play. This is reminding me of that princess story we did in Liberia. Still went to job interview and suddenly in one random neighborhood she starts to cough out blood and then the police say they don't suspect foul play. How did this woman go to have a drink with her boyfriend and begin to run out helter-skelter looking for help, looking for water, looking for who would take her to the hospital, whereas her boyfriend was around, whereas her boyfriend was nearby? It was said that Stanley only came closer to her after she had fallen to the ground. That's when he came. And sources claim that he had collected a mobile phone at the time because he wanted to do something with it. Although sources believe that while Comfort was looking for help, Stanley was also somewhere looking for help, trying to call her people, trying to call her family, and all of that. But the story, the narrative, the timing, the timeline is still very sketchy. And it doesn't look good for Stanley to me. And I don't understand why the Liberian police are claiming that there is no foul play, especially when an autopsy hasn't been done on this woman. Although it hasn't been stated if an autopsy was done, but as at the time of making this video, we hadn't seen where it was revealed that an autopsy was done. But the police are already claiming that they don't believe a foul play took place. And although Stanley had eventually turned himself in because it was said after Comfort had passed, they were looking for him. He most likely panicked and ran away because clearly everybody would look at him with one eye. I would understand why, in case if he's innocent, why he would run away, because obviously the eye would be on him and this might be too much for him, and I get that part. But then again, he ran with her mobile phone, which is up to me. Why was he with her mobile phone? Well, I don't know. I really can't explain that part. Eventually, still, he was arrested. He turned himself in. He went to the police to give his statement and he was arrested. And it's been said that he's been charged with negligent homicide, not first degree murder, not manslaughter, just negligent homicide, which interprets as though that he's being held accountable for the fact that he did not do anything to help Comfort when she was struggling, which makes sense because if he was literally with her and she is going to meet a strange woman to ask for help, it meant that he was a no-show. It's either he's a very irresponsible man, or it's either he's nonchalant, it's either he's careless, or it's either he did it. He probably thought after she finished drinking, she would go home and die there, but probably stayed longer and it took effect right there with him and he did not know how to react. But there is that possibility that he too might be innocent, because I think if an autopsy is done, most possibly or more importantly, a toxicology report that would show the chemical compounds that may have interfered with her system, that may have caused her to suffer that instant reaction that caused her to die, and foam from her mouth because clearly she was poisoned. It could have been alcohol poisoning, in my opinion. That is what I'm thinking, since it's a beer. However, it still could have been an external poison, and that is why a toxicology report is important, because if the poison that was in that drink was not something that the drink ingredient or expiration of the drink could have caused, that means someone did poison her, and the only person to look at would be Stanley. When the police did announce that they don't suspect foul play and maybe only charged him with negligent homicide, many people protested. A lot of women disagreed with the police decision and they were requesting justice for Comfort. And it's really sad to see a lot of women protesting for Comfort's death. And this is, again, like we talked about, this is a little bit similar to Princess Cooper's story from back in the day when we talked about it. And the same thing happened. The police did not suspect foul play, and despite the fact that there were theories that she had gone to hang out with a group of Lebanese men who owned the shop where she passed at the backyard. But, you know, Princess Cooper's case is still very mysterious. Still unsolved in my opinion, even though the police believe that she died of natural causes. But there is nothing natural about a young girl who is going for a job interview to end up in the backyard of a construction shop, coughing out blood, screaming and wailing in pain before losing her life. And now we have Comfort here, who went to drink with her boyfriend, suddenly with her boyfriend there, running helter-skelter for help, asking people to help her, and now the police are still saying there is no foul play, especially when an autopsy hasn't been done. It's confusing to me. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I don't think the police should just instantly say they don't suspect foul play. It's too soon. You kind of have to look into the case. You kind of have to check what Stanley most likely have to gain. Now, sources refer to Comfort as Stanley's fiancée. So not just girlfriend. Some sources are calling her Stanley's fiancée. So is it possible that Stanley had promised this woman marriage and has probably been collecting money from her, and since there is rumor that he has another life outside of Comfort, that there might be another woman, is it possible that he just wants to get rid of her so that he can be free and go back to his former life or his other girlfriend? Because we've seen this multiple times. When certain men want to get away from the responsibility of being a boyfriend or being a husband, they kill their woman. Is there something that he is gaining? And since he collected her mobile phone as at the time this woman was wailing in pain, did he make any transfer? Did he transfer money from it? Did he take her money? Was he deleting things? Was he deleting conversation? Because I feel like in my mind, Comfort suspects that Stanley poisoned her. That is what I feel. I feel like she knows, she believes, and that is why she is not putting so much pressure on him for help. She is going somewhere else. It's like a child running and crying to a total stranger away from his own mother, which meant that the mother has done something. That is what it looks like here. How can your girlfriend, who you are with, who you just had drink with, leave you and go and meet a total stranger for help to save her life? And when asked, she said, my boyfriend gave me something to drink, which meant she believed that Stanley had a hand in her own death. That is my opinion. I feel like the police need to look deep into it. They need to ask questions. They need to find out if Stanley has another family somewhere else and he is already proposing a marriage to Comfort. That is a motive. Just to establish a motive, that is a motive. If Stanley is having financial difficulties and has been collecting money from Comfort or is owing Comfort money, that is a motive. They need to analyze their relationship. They need to check what they have in common or not in common and what people know about their friendship. Maybe that is why he went to take her phone to delete all those messages. It's possible that he deleted a lot of things that could implicate him. And for the police to just abruptly say that they don't suspect foul play, it's just disappointing in my opinion. At least, because this case looks sketchy enough. So investigate it, make sure all the stones are turned, because there might be something. Stanley may have most possibly done this to Comfort. And for it to just be said that no foul play has been suspected, it's just letting this man go. A 42-year-old man, it's possible that he has wife and children somewhere else. I mean, Comfort has 7, maybe 8 or 9, but 7 that are still alive. So he most likely have 1 or 2. And if Comfort is being referred to as his fiancée, and there is rumor that he has a woman or a wife somewhere else, all this sketchiness make up for a possible motive that Stanley would have a reason to want to get rid of Comfort. But let's just hope and see something comes up. Stay tuned, stay subscribed, stay following us. Whenever there is an update, I'll let you guys know. But do let me know your thoughts. Do you think Stanley has a hand in the death of Comfort? Or do you think it may have just been alcohol poisoning and the police might be right that they don't suspect foul play? Let me know your thoughts. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And turn on your notification button so whenever there is a future update, you'll be the first to get notified.